There you go.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. This is the agenda special session, Design Review Board, Zoom meeting platform, December 8th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. City of Bisbee, 76 Erie Street, Bisbee, Arizona, 85603. Roll call for board members. Savannah Anderson. I see you, so I'm going to say present. Peter Gaffer.
I'm present.
Stephen Green.
Here.
Lori Gannell.
Present.
Scott Perfect.
Present.
Myself, Linda Santanis. Ben Lepley.
Here.
Frank Davis is absent tonight. Doug Taylor, city planner. I see him, so he's here. Okay, this meeting is going to be a little bit different in that the agenda has been reformatted. So there's a couple of different things. The application numbers are at the end. I'll go ahead and read them at the beginning so that the Design Review Board members can find their paperwork. And then there's two line items that were added. One's a staff report and the other one is staff comments. And those both will be sandwiching the Design Review Board discussion. So I'm going to do the call to the public. Residents of the city of Bisbee may speak at this time regarding Design Review Board topics that are not on the agenda. Speaking time limit will be observed during the call to the public. The speaking time limit is 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone who wants to say something? Okay, then we'll move into old business. Agenda item number 1, Design Review Board application 2184. Request for approval of a shed to be constructed at 108 Taylor Avenue, non-contributing property number 118. Carl and Nancy, excuse me. Oh, Tamara, can you put yourself on silent? Or mute yourself? Thank you. Okay, Carl and Nancy Hubert applicants. On the November 3rd meeting, the board approved project, 1, enclosing the existing porch. For project number 2, the board asked that the shed have better drawings and imagery to support what is going to look like at the next meeting for further approval. Call for the application. Applicant representative will present their application to the board. So go ahead, Mr. and Mrs. Hubert.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, we brought in one more slight revision Monday, 12/2, that everyone should be aware of. It's a nicer little drawing, and I did include a few mistakes I made, Linda, including the 80-inch rear wall.
Thank you. I did notice that.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a little more representative of what the south side is going to look like, as you probably all have pictures of this, I assume, on your desk. The other major revision is we've upped it from 12 by 16 to 16 by 16. Still fits in our lot very nicely. We have turnaround room for our car. So it seems to work. Side yard setbacks, etc., are good. We've also decided to go with a 4-inch monolithic slab with thickened edges rather than the pavers set in concrete. So that's really the only other major changes. We did show where windows are going to be. And you have pictures also of some of the windows we're going to reuse from the church. And the siding is, we do not have all the siding yet, but we wanted primarily wood with primarily wood siding. Maybe we'll have rusty galvanized accents, but primarily wood. Of course, it's going to be constructed out of 2x3s, recycled from the church also. As Bisbee was made out of 2x3s back in the day. And let's see, standard framing using the 2x3s. Rafters are going to be 2x6s, supported in the center with a glue lamb. I'll make myself. The doors, as shown, you have pictures of. No, the doors are recycled from our house here. And then I'm going to hand build a door. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then the roofing, I think you have a picture of that also. It's that gray polycarbonate. It's about instead of a small little flimsy fiberglass roof, you cannot see through it, and it's approximately a 2-inch swale, so it's a bigger, heavier roof.
It looks like galvanized,
It looks just like galvanized. I think you have a picture of it.
but without the reflection.
Mhm. So other than that, I think we have our windows dialed in, doors pretty much dialed in, our rafters and studs are right here on property. I think that's about it. We did discuss a lot of other things last time, but anybody have any questions?
Very much, Mr. Hubert, Mrs. Hubert. And now we will have the next line item, which is the staff report. So city staff will give a report.
Good evening. You have a question before you that I think is a pretty interesting one is, what do you want to do for an undesigned building that is creative, eclectic, and actually art? It also has materials that you don't normally approve. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how this comes out, but you have a couple of questions philosophically as a board, and you have my input.
Okay, we'll move along to the public comment only on this item, and there will be a time limit for speaking of 3 minutes per person. Do we have any public comment? Okay, Nina, was anything sent in? Okay, she probably can't hear me. I'm going to say no to that.
No.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, the board discussion. Go ahead, board. You may begin.
I'll start the ball rolling, Linda, if I may. I was just going to ask the applicant. I assume that the reclaimed wood siding is just going to be random width. Whatever you have is what you're going to use, and going to make it work. Is that the intent? Is it just flat board, or is it going to be boarded and then battened?
No, it's not going to be board and batten. It's going to be a horizontal kind of a lap siding. And I'm still in the process of looking for more of that. We
You
have,
say horizontal or vertical? You show it as vertical.
oh yeah, vertical. I'm sorry, yeah, vertical lap siding. Mhm.
I'm sorry,
And I said that wrong again. I'm sorry.
I think you did.
Horizontal lap siding.
Horizontal lap siding, okay. Which is not indicated on the drawing.
I think,
Or maybe it is on that. Oh, I'm looking on the east side. I'm sorry. Okay,
mhm.
very good. Okay. Okay, with you. Yeah, I was looking on the east side elevation facing Taylor. Okay, good.
Mhm.
But this your intent, there will be lap siding all the way around.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it won't be random width. It'll be whatever you'll do is cut it down.
There may, this is a work in progress.
Okay,
It'll look good.
There will
look
be-
good.
yeah. I think, what we have done, shows what we like to do. Yeah.
And the polycarbonate material is what is shown with bags of potting soil on top?
No.
No?
I think that you should have a picture, and I don't have one here. We gave them all to you guys.
Is that the one?
That's the one. Thank you.
Why don't I
That's-
see
It looks like corrugated metal.
Now, was this added at the, oh, okay, all the way down. I'm with you. Okay.
It's in the original packet.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm with you.
And that is, I took that picture from Clausen Street, right across from the church.
Okay.
I like that look, and I do want to put a clear panel in there or two.
All right. And no further comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Uh,
My phone was acting weird, so I switched to my
I
computer.
mean, Mr. Gaffer, sorry.
Video on now, so sorry about that. I just wanted to say, I do think it is interesting and amazing that you've really gotten all of this together, Mr. Hubert. I do have a question about the material on one thing, and that is, you see it's a 4-pane by 4-pane window, and there's sort of squares. What material is that window made of?
That's made out of steel. And that also came from the church.
Okay, thank
I-
you.
Put that here, I guess. And it's very cool. We found another matching one the other day down in Knock
On the side of the
on the side of the road. But there, there is opening windows on either side, the casement style. And, then a solid interior center part of it. That one is in almost meticulous shape. We may incorporate the other one with some glass replacement, but yeah, that's my window.
Very nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Steel and glass.
So, yes.
Any other questions from any board member? Comments? Okay, staff comments is the next one. Staff will speak.
Mr. Taylor, do you have anything to add? Do you have anything to add for your staff comments at this point?
I don't have anything on this one.
Okay, so the board will take a motion and vote. Does somebody want to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 I,
Aye.
4, 5.
And Savannah, aye. Sorry, I'm trying to get my video on.
Any nays? Okay, I only heard 4 votes, but 4 votes is a quorum, so passes. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Hubert.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll try and do it right. Make it
We'll
Bisbee
make you
proud.
proud.
Bye, you guys.
Okay, agenda item, new business. Agenda item number 2, election of a vice chair for the design review board. And I'm going to open that up to the board members. Are there any nominations?
Sorry to interrupt. I'll be right back to the meeting. I'm having a little glitch here. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Should we wait?
well,
just-
I'd like to make one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering if we should just wait a minute for her and see if she can get. her-
Okay, we can wait.
Yeah.
There you go. Hello, Savannah, can you hear us?
Yes, I can now. Thank you. Yeah, it's all better.
Okay, great. Okay, new business, agenda item number 2, election of a vice chair for the design review board. I would like to nominate Mr. Scott Perfect. And I would also like to hear if anybody else has any other nominations. Oh, Mr. Perfect. Are you interested in the position? I guess I should have asked you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sorry. I didn't even bother to ask you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a vote on this. All those in favor say aye.
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 Linda, do we technically need a second? Because you made.
Oh,
a
that's right.
proposal.
I am so sorry. I think so. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Nina, can you answer that question? If we-
I'll be a second for the record.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it did need a second. Thank you, Mr. Gaffer.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Gaffer.
in favor, aye.
So I counted 4 in favor. I guess that makes a quorum, so passes. Congratulations, Mr. Perfect.
You didn't do if there
Okay.
were any nays. You didn't see if there
Oh.
were any nays. Sorry.
Are there any nays? That is important. Any nays? I only heard 4 ayes. No, I guess we have 2 abstentions.
The abstentions
Okay.
are a no vote. So it does.
Okay, so 2. How many said aye? Just put up your hand. Dinah can see. So 5, because Mr. Perfect said yes. So 5, and then 1 nay.
He can't vote for
we-
himself. Sorry, he can't vote for himself.
Can't vote. Okay, well, there's still 4. 1 can't vote. Savannah?
I
Did you-
abstain.
You can't. So that's a no. And Ben?
I was gonna volunteer for the position, but I didn't get a chance.
So do we, Nina, how do we deal with this?
Yeah, but you didn't let him, he didn't speak. We can just
I
stop.
didn't speak in time.
Right.
I
So
think
what
I-
we'll do is, Linda, that you nominated Mr. Perfect and Ben is volunteering. So we just need to take a vote.
Okay, so how do we do it? Just one name and then the other name? Yep, okay. So
Start over.
since we started with Mr. Perfect, let's vote again. All those in favor say aye.
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 3. All those in favor for Ben?
Aye.
Aye.
2 to 3, so Mr. Perfect?
I abstain on voting for Mr. Lepley.
No, oh, okay. That's a no then?
Yes,
Were there any nays on Mr. Perfect's? I have 2 abstain, correct?
Right, and Lori just told us that those are nays. Is that the case?
Yes, those are, if it's a abstain, it's a no. So that's 3 to 2. Are there any nays for Ben? So his motion will stand at 2. All right, so then if you'll make the motion, Linda, for Mr. Perfect.
To nominate again?
No,
Or-
just move to appoint Mr. Perfect as the vice chair.
Okay, Mr. Perfect is the current vice chair. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, under new business, agenda item number 3, design review board application 2185. Myself. Request for approval of a complete renovation of 700 square feet, 2-story, single-family residence, exterior to remain as intact as possible. Addition of 2nd floor deck on east side at 118 Brewery Avenue. It's a contributing property. Number 9. Michael Lansky is the applicant and Brian Hope is the representative. The 300-foot notice was sent out on November 10th, 2021. At the time of this agenda, there were no public comments submitted. Okay, public hearing. For the applicant representative will present their application to the board. Mr. Ms. Lansky?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thanks for hearing this. Yes, 118 Brewery Avenue, built circa 1905, 1906, best we can tell. We're doing a rather extensive renovation on it. The building can be best described as rough in its current condition. There are no footings or foundations supporting the structure. The existing board and batten walls are providing the structure, for lack of a better term, on it. If you would refer to the line drawing labeled, let me find it, please. Proposed demolition and rebuild. Due to the lack of any foundations in this structure, the area labeled original structure is listing in two directions simultaneously. The area in the line drawing, which was constructed as additions, is pulling away from the building in opposite directions. We met with Mr. Ward, our building inspector, on site, threw a bunch of ideas around, and it was determined that the best course of action would be to dismantle, that is demolition, the addition areas. That'll allow us to get in under the original structure, get foundation footings under that, and then we would stabilize that area with new bearing walls built within the existing envelope. Once the existing structure there, the original structure that is stabilized, we can then go in and do footings, foundations in the same footprint as noted in the rebuild area. We would have salvaged all of the board and batten siding, and it would go back in kind. What else? We intend to add a porch on the second floor to increase the living area. And we do wish to replace all of the windows and doors on property. The windows, although they're original, they all have pretty much everything in the world wrong with them. They're warped, glazing is broken. It's just not feasible to bring these back into any kind of state, a good repair. So we do want to replace those double hung, high quality aluminum clad wood windows. That's all I have. I'm happy to field any questions and comments you may have. Thank you.
Could I just ask the chair, I believe there was a letter submitted with some questions, or am I mixing up too? I'm sorry, I'm juggling papers here. Linda, you're muted. Linda, you're muted.
It was, I do remember seeing something come from China. It was somebody that was outside of the 300 square foot area that had questions.
Yes.
I don't know.
1 second.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't print that.
I just for the record, I think we should address it. I don't
Yes,
think,
I agree.
I didn't have an opinion on the question.
Okay, so it, this is from,
What
is it all right if I go ahead?
I was going to say, actually, we probably should hear the staff report first and then go into the public comment.
You're absolutely right. You're correct.
So city staff will give report.
Okay, the proportions and massing are the same as they will be, or same as they are now. The cladding, roofing, and fenestration are basically what they are. They are moving doors and windows. The second floor balcony is definitely something you'd find in the neighborhood. So I think this meets your criteria.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Welcome.
Nina, the public comment that came through.
Well, you need to declare the
Oh, sorry.
hearing open first, sorry.
Sorry. The hearing is now open for public comments.
All right. I did receive one in favor from Daniel Watrous. He was in favor of that and wish them best of luck. The other one was from Nancy Gulamet, and I apologize if I butchered that. She didn't see the reference in terms of the address on the letter, which it was. However, it is close to my house, and I did walk around the property. From the drawings, it appears the applicant spent quite a bit of time and thought into the renovation. The first question is, I don't understand if in the first bullet, the expression to fully demolish the additions, where are the additions as the structure stands now? And the second one is, what is a fiberglass window? Is that the pane itself, frame, etc.? In terms of the footprint, there are two existing houses that are fairly close to the proposed reno. One is 120B Brewery, the blue house, and the other is 225 Opera Drive, sand-colored exterior with tomato trim. Will the occupants of these two houses have their views obstructed with this proposal? If so, can that be an issue that DRB takes into consideration? And just for the view, that's out of the purview of the DRB.
And then as far as answering where the addition is, I guess if she was able to see the side that faces the Brewery Gulch, it's the far right. And if you walk up to it, you can see where it's pulling away. Is that correct, Mr. Hope?
That's correct.
And what was the last question? Oh, something about the windows,
The
what's difference?
fiberglass, yeah, what is the difference? Is that the pane itself or frame? Except
We're not using any fiberglass windows. The French doors may possibly be a fiberglass construction, probably steel. Too early in the game to be making that decision, so I called out both materials just to cover bases.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hope. We're going to close the discussion if there are no other public comments. Okay, I'm opening it up now to the board members for discussion.
I'll kick off by applauding the application. I think it's going to be a great improvement. It's a small footprint when it's done, which is good. As I agree with the staff report that it meets our criteria, and I think it'll be great improvement to the area. I thank Mr. Hope for doing it.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to make a comment as well, and this is for the owner, Michael Lansky. I applaud you because I walked on site and I have seen what you have to deal with, and so I am very excited that this is going to be renovated and it's going to be another nice place in Bisbee. So thanks for the vision.
Can I make a comment?
Yes. Let's see, board member. Yeah, Savannah.
Yes. So I wanted to commend Mr. Hope and the owner for maintaining the original board in Batten, or replicating it as well. My one concern would be the fiberglass possibility in the doors. However, Mr. Hope, just because this is a historic home and that's not a historic material, those steels usually used in a more industry, kind of a setting. I'm fine with that. But that's my one sort of holdup on this is the fiberglass possibility in the doors.
Thank you for that concern. And for what it's worth, both fiberglass and steel doors have been historically approved by Design Review Board. If there is a prohibition on either of those materials, if somebody could give me a reference standard, I will stand corrected.
You're
Thank
not
you.
However, yeah, you're not wrong.
Any other board comments?
Yeah, I I noticed the door, entrance door on the west side. So on the top side, second floor, is a historic door that is a very traditional Bisbee door, 6 light, though actually it has 4 panes of glass. But it actually did seem like in pretty decent condition. And I'd like to see that retain. I do agree with Savannah on the fiberglass doors. We don't always, that's why we're a committee, we vote. And we have a design opinion, and design is open-ended. So we do retain that right to vote on the aesthetics of a project in relation to their historic relevance. Fiberglass is not a historically relevant material for a door and tends to look quite cheap and tacky. However, I do very much commend this project and the efforts of the owner, and I don't want to delay, over something like this. It's just my opinion that I think that door should be retained if possible.
Okay, Mr. Lepley, and thank you for your opinion. If it please the board, I am happy to spec steel doors. In the name of expense, I am not going to make my homeowner purchase wood French doors. That will drive the cost even more out than it is. So if you're okay with steel doors, so are we. In regard to the door on the west side, yes, it is an original door, and Mr. Lepley, it is warped. I'm sure you will agree that there is no unwarping warped doors. Any of the windows and doors that we remove from the original structure will be repurposed on subsequent projects on site. So outside of the obvious, nothing is going to the landfill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hope. Is there anybody else on the board that would like to make a comment or ask a question?
Can I state something?
Yes.
So I just wanted to respond to your response to Mr. Lepley, Mr. Hope. It would make me much more confident and comfortable voting on this if the doors were steel. So I would appreciate that if that's something that's in your power to do and not consider the fiberglass.
Agreed. I will spec steel doors.
Okay, thank you. That definitely
Thank you.
answers.
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Perfect?
I would just like to commend the ambitious undergoing that this project is going to take. I think that Mr. Hope has covered all bases, given us a chance to voice when there was a choice of type of materials, which we all did. We all gave him our opinions that we would like to see steel doors. Mr. Hope has conceded to that. I see no other problems that I would foresee with the undergoing of this project. Mr. Hope, once again, a great presentation, and to the homeowners, thank you very much for your investment in our community.
Thank you, sir.
Any other comments from the board members? Any board member?
I think it's important to note the ability for somebody like Mr. Hope or a designer or an architect to be able to represent a client and have feedback back and forth. And I think that's important to make note of here, and that should be extended to all parties. Thanks.
Mr. Lepley, any other questions?
I would just like to say I agree with Mr. Lepley on that point.
Okay, are we ready? I'm going to close the discussion from the board members and open it up for the staff comments.
I have no further comment.
The only comment that I have is when
Oh,
you
wait a
make a
second.
motion,
Oh, okay, when I make a motion, how do I have to
when
say?
you make a motion you need to add the steel doors. You need to spell that out.
Good point. Thank you, Nina. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the board members to make a motion. Will somebody make a motion on this, please?
I would be happy to make a motion to approve application number 21 dash, oh gosh, 21-85 as presented with the provision that the door material will be steel and not fiberglass.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we had two.
Mr. Green, you can, it's all good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. I heard four.
Aye.
Just put your hands up so that we can see you. It'll be easier for Nina. So I see 3, 4, 5. Mr. Lepley and Savannah. Okay, Savannah, yes. Okay, 6. Passes unanimously.
Ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen,
very
thank
much,
you. Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Hope and Mr. Lansky. Okay, agenda item number 4, Design Review Board Application 2189. Request for approval of the following modifications of an already approved design submitted on 11/17/2020. New front facade with 16 gauge metal sheet instead of wood previously designed. 2 4 original windows enclosed with brick will be reopened with new steel casement windows on Tack Avenue. 3, a new neon sign on Subway Street at 57A Subway Street, contributing property number BI-60. Mike Ablin, Von Stark LLC applicant, Ben Lepley, representative. Call for the application. Applicant representative will present their application to the board. Will this be you, Mr. Lepley?
Yeah, I'll present the project.
Go ahead.
So, over the course of a complex project like this, historic preservation and also adaptive reuse, there's always bound to be changes based upon the client's needs and so on. So we've opted to make a modification to the sliding doors on the front of the building on the south along Subway Street. The proportion of the doors remains the same. The glass on the top and solid on the bottom aspect of the doors remains the same. But we actually wanted to bring it closer to what the building once was, which was a warehouse and supply for the fair store, which the bridge above connects to. And the quality and aesthetic of Subway Street in that area is very much highly industrial, lots of steel fire doors with which are clad with sheet metal. And so we wanted to duplicate that because this opening here was a loading dock at one point. And so we're trying to bring it closer to that. And we feel that's closer than the original wood doors. Another change is we've now designed neon lighting. Neon is very much in keeping with the era. So this is not LED, it's not fluorescent, it's neon. So we've added that. And we've also added a red, white, and blue stripe because this is the American Legion, and it harkens back to our military. And red, white, and blue is patriotic. And it also helps light up this area in the same way that the Christmas lights light up Main Street and OK Street as well. And so we're doing that on the property that Mike Ablin owns, which is the bridge. And so those are just red, white, and blue, neon, and the amount of light would be very similar to what you'll see on the sign for the table, which lights up that area above above the convention center. This area on Subway Street is incredibly dark and quite creepy. As such, there's been a lot of tagging in the area because it's not lit, which happens at night, and lots of trash thrown and so on and so forth. So this will bring a lot of light and attraction to Subway Street. It'll draw people down from Main Street at night and beckon them to walk down Subway and also patronize the other buildings in that area. Another thing that we did is there were 4 historic ventilation windows at the top of the building, which you'll see on sheet A203 at the top. Mike had his mason on site. He went ahead and removed the brick from those openings and is having windows fabricated as we speak. So that item has already been done. So in that case, we'd have to beg for forgiveness on that one. But that is the nature of the change, in addition to historic casement windows being added on page A202. Instead of modern single pane glass, we're doing steel casement, which will be more historically relevant as those are actually reclaimed windows. So that wraps up the changes and updates. And for this project, we're actually about to rock and roll on this portion of the work. And obviously, I'm not voting on this and I'm recusing myself, but I would like to stay online to be able to answer questions as a legal representative of my client. Oh, Linda, you're muted.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Lepley. I will now open this up to Mr. Taylor for comment.
Okay, I think the doors are a good replacement for the wooden doors. They're very industrial looking. I think they're very appropriate. The arched masonry infill, whatever we want to call the window there, the arched windows above, I think is a good idea. The neon sign, I think, is fine. The only thing I had a question about, and the representative and I had a discussion about it, and I understand that now it's 3 strips of neon, and I just wonder if that's been done, and that's going to be a question at some point for him, but whether that's been done somewhere else in town. I just feel like though neon was around a long time ago, I haven't seen it as street lighting, and we could probably get the same effect with red, white, and blue lights like that are strung across Main Street. They may not be the security lights that the applicant is looking for, but the maybe the neon doesn't light it up that much either. So I don't know, but that is the question that I think the board should ponder. And the rest of it, I think, looks great. That's the end of my comment.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. Now I'm going to open it up for public comments. And everybody just remember, you only have 3 minutes per person. Are there any public comments?
I have a question. Oh, public comment, sorry.
I have no public comment.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nina. It doesn't seem like there are any public comments or anybody online for that. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now I'll open it up for the board discussion. Ms. Gannell?
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Lepley. Can you, I just want to clarify, the neon lighting would be on the bridge? Is that correct?
Yeah, on the underside of the bridge, which a client owns. It's,
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a pretty standard thing that has been done throughout the ages since neon was invented. I don't know if it's been done in Bisbee before, but what's been built in Bisbee since 1880 has been in keeping with buildings in New York and downtown Los Angeles and Tombstone, depending on what area you point at. So the convention center, 1930s, streamlined modern. So it has its own unique style. And I also think, it's important for any homeowner or architect or designer to be able to have a degree of creative expression.
Okay, and so the colors of the neon lighting are, on here, it looks like a rainbow on the photo. What would the colors be?
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. Okay, so.
Yeah. So this is, I used a photorealistic rendering program for this.
Yeah.
And so the colors that you see here are actually, light mixes when you put.
Yes, I understand.
That's why it looks like that.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Mr. Taylor that was the only part of it that gave me pause. The lighting going across the alley or the roadway. And it would be underneath the bridge. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's
on the side.
mounted a couple inches away from the bottom surface of the bridge. Right now it's white stucco. So it'd be mounted to the bottom of that. And the light would reflect off that and down onto the roadway and make that area a little bit brighter and more cheery. Should be noted that no one lives in that area. It's not residential. There is somebody at the end there, but their windows don't really open up on that. So
Okay, that's the only question I had. Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, yes, Savannah, go ahead.
So mine is about the neon as well, slightly different sort of take on it. The guidelines do have a lot actually on neon and, red, blue, of course, white would be colors that could be acceptable. My question is about how the brightness of these neon lights, as the guidelines state that the transformer should be limited to 20 milliamps at maximum. So I was just wondering if that's something that has been already pre-planned, that to make sure that could happen, that it wouldn't exceed that.
we've not yet contacted a neon company. Yeah.
Okay. I really like the rest of when it comes to the actual building, what you've done with the windows and reopening it and the industrial, maintaining the historicalness of that. But that's just one sort of big thing for me as it's stated it's on page 30. I don't know if anyone's looking at it.
Page
Oh,
30, yeah, of the actual, the guidelines of the, it says, it mentions the neon applied should be of classic glass or classic colors, green, red, blue, yellow, for example. That's what I meant about the colors. And garish colors are not allowed. This also includes excessive signage such as beer signs and windows. Again, this affects the lighting or illumination in historic district. Although neon will dim in time, the intensity of the neon should be kept at a minimum by limiting the transformer to 20 milliamps.
okay. Do we have any other comments from any other board members? I'll let check that out before he answers.
I would like to chime in here if I could. Savannah, did you want to say something else?
No, I was pointing to you. Sorry. Probably.
Okay. I'm over here. Anyway, I like the idea of the neon. I know that it is it's not a common thing that you see around Bisbee. Yes, there are neon signs. You did speak, Savannah, just for a second there on a garish color. There are neon signs that are existing in Bisbee that I think garish might be a subjective term. completely. So I'm not seeing that the application of the neon underneath the bridge as being any type of signage, as more of as an architectural element that brings the old into the new. That, and I completely support the fact that it is going to add additional lightway into that, onto Subway at that point, because it is very dark, sometimes uncomfortable for me to walk through late at night. I can't imagine, and I'm not going to, this is not being sexist, I can't imagine that that too many women feel comfortable walking through there at night as well. So I think it's a plus that it is lighting it. I like the fact that it is more of an artistic flair, and I think that blending the old into the new, I think that is a plus as well.
And just
That's
to
perfect.
clarify, I didn't have a problem with the colors, as I was saying, those are in, you know, those are following what the guideline says. Just my biggest concern, just because it is something that hasn't been done, you know, we don't want the neon to take over the appearance of the historic subway street there. So though I might consider it, I just want to make sure that it can stay at that lighting level that's specified there.
I would imagine that if that's in the guidelines, that Mr. Lepley will abide by those guidelines.
Wonderful. I just thought it was something to be at least spoken.
Okay, thank you, Savannah. I do have some comments on this. Or questions. Ben, do you know if neon can be dimmed at all? I know cold cathode can, but I don't know about neon.
Yeah,
That's something you can check into, because that would be a way of controlling that.
yeah, I've done a few neon projects before. And you can change the diameter of the tube, and you can also change the light emission. You can also dim them. You can't dim them to the degree that you can LED, but you can dim them by adjusting the wattage. So.
Okay, great. And then is there going to be any kind of, not necessarily a soffitted area, but just a recess portion underneath the bridge? Is that recessed at all, or is it just flat?
There are two I-beams that are painted green, and actually they are visible in the rendering.
Mhm.
And those
On either side. Okay.
Yeah, and those step down about 3 or 4 inches, and then the white stucco is above. I would like to try and actually have the neon mounted on the stucco. That's going to have to be a discussion with. We'll probably go with Cook Signs on if they can do that, because that would be the most architecturally standard way. Where you actually drill a hole through the stucco and just have the neon go straight through, and you deal with the wiring on the top side. If we can't do that, then we would have to have some sort of plate or something, which would be white, and it would look just like the stucco, but it would have the wiring inside of it. It could be a plate, or it could be like a conduit. But that's more of a construction documents thing. But even if we did have to have a conduit or something, then we would route that next to the I-beams. But
Or you can also cover it with some sort of metal covering also, in order, you know, for it not to look like flexed up, whatever,
yeah,
or
it'd
painted.
be solid white EMT, painted white probably. So it wouldn't be, you know, crooked or anything like that.
Right.
There are a lot of ways of fastening neon to a surface, all kinds of surfaces, and a lot of stanchions and standoffs and so on. So would use the industry standard, which is like a clip, and then you can drill into any surface.
Okay. And then I just wanted to make a comment that I do like the use of neon, especially in that area. We walk through there at dark, and I'm glad all the trash cans or barrels or containers have been removed. I do like the nature of the neon in that it would be a permanent solution versus string lighting. It will also be better for maintenance purposes. And that's, I think, all I have. Does anybody else have any comments? Any other board member?
No, I agree with what you just said. I mean, the applicant has changed a lot on the Bisbee landscape into something that's exciting, interesting. I think Ben's added an architectural detail that really does enhance it. It's artistic more than anything else, and it serves a purpose. So no, I'm 100% in favor of this.
Thank you, Mr. Gaffer. Anyone else?
I'm just wondering if Mr. Lepley has anything to say regarding that, the brightness or not.
Yeah, so I'll talk with Cook Signs, who I've worked with before. When I was doing another project with them, they did give me a selection of different diameter tubes, have different outputs, and also the ability to dim.
Okay.
So you have to get a special transformer that has the ability to dim. It's not just an on-off one, but they do have that. So I'll discuss that with them.
Transformer, ballast, etc. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lepley. I'd like to close the board discussion, and can we hear from the staff for your comments, Mr. Taylor?
I think that if you choose to approve the neon on the underside of what we're calling the bridge, I think that Mr. Lepley has a good point about vandalism, and neon is pretty fragile. All of the neon in this proposal, and this is kind of a question to him, but it looked to me like all the neon is exposed to the exterior, and that may require, I don't know, some sort of plexiglass, I don't know what cover, but and that's normally not a DRB issue, but I would hate for somebody to throw something, a sneaker or a garbage can lid up into that and break all the neon and have glass and all that all over the street. And in the sign, I'd hate, that's a nice sign, I'd hate to see it. And and to address Ms. Anderson's comment about the colors, I do believe that red, white, and blue would meet the acceptable colors for the use of neon. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor.
Welcome.
The board will take a motion and vote. Do I have somebody to make a motion? And I can remind you, or maybe you want to include the 40 milliwatts or whatever it was that I was talking about.
I can make a motion to approve, given that the fact that the transformer for the neon can be limited to 20 milliamps.
Do I have a second?
I'd second that.
Thank you, Mr. Gaffer.
Yep.
Let's vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are those opposed? Okay, we have 2 in favor, 1 opposed. Let's try it again. All those in favor, say aye. Put your arm up.
Aye.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Good.
So 5, 4, and okay, 6. So we have well, this is passed. So congratulations and thank you very much, Mike Allen, and thank you, Ben Lepley, for your representation. And motion passes. I think it was 5. Oh no, 4. Is that correct, Stefan?
5-1.
Who was the one that did not want it?
Stefan, Mr. Green?
No, I'm an I.
No,
Oh,
he
you're
was an
nine.
I, yeah. So
Yeah.
is it 6-0?
That is correct. Thank you, Nina. Okay. We're on number, I'm sorry, let me get coordinated here, number 5. Okay. Design Review Board Application 2192. Request for approval of a building south porch overhang to accommodate elevated deck, replace existing architectural columns, and replace doors, windows on the second floor at 531 Mayor, 531 Tombstone Canyon / Mayor. Contributing property number 278, Curtin Shannon Stetter applicants, Brian Hope representative. I'm going to call for the applicant to go ahead and do your presentation. Would this be you, Mr. Hope, or the staff?
Yes, thank you very much. 531 Mayor, I assume everybody has visited the property. Kurt and Sharon purchased this property many years ago, and over the years have put rather extensive money into the property, rehabbing it, new siding, and saving it from general decay. They are retiring and wish to make the second floor apartment their permanent residence. And as such, a major remodel needs to occur, changing some walls around to accommodate their lifestyle, make a more efficient living area for themselves, and also a comfortable, energy efficient living space for them. Those of you who visited the property may have noticed that the house has many different kinds, styles, materials of windows. On the second floor, I'm attempting to restore some kind of continuity, some kind of rhythm by replacing the windows that need to go with those similar in style. Those notably with what's called a top-down prairie muntin. To my eye, the existing Tudor diamond muntins do not fit the bungalow style of this buildings, and I felt the top-down prairie muntins were a good compromise in this. We're going to do our best to respect the existing geometry, but I cannot guarantee that every window is going to be like for like dimensionally. If you would refer to the line drawing of the south elevation. Right now on the house, you should have noticed that porch overhang on the front. I know these to be not original to the building. They were put on sometime in the 40s, but they were done improperly. There's not sufficient flashing where the deck meets the house. Through the years, it has rotted extensively and needs to be rebuilt regardless. We're going to take this opportunity and turn that into an elevated deck to increase their living space. To access it, we're going to remove the window that was there and replace it with French doors. I'm going to take this opportunity right now to spec that they will be steel French doors. Also, the columns that support this. The columns that were there originally are of a colonial style. Again, they don't really fit the bungalow style of this building. One of them has actually exploded due to decay. So I'm looking to replace those with Craftsman style square tapered columns. Again, more fitting. Wherever possible, anything is going to be reused on property. I know Mr. and Mrs. Stetter are here this evening, so Kurt and Sharon, if you have anything to add, all yours.
Yeah, I'd like to just say hi. And this house, we've owned this home for a number of years. And slowly done some things on the lower level. And we do have 2 tenants that live down below us. But we live 50 stairs from the street up to our home, which is 2 doors away. And those stairs are going to become a little less accessible in the next few years for us. So the renovations largely have to do with making the house livable. Windows as they exist are, most of them don't open, and so they're useless. And when they're just not functioning at all. And so that needs to change. And the house in general just needs to be brought up to what it's worthy of. I think maybe it might have been the first mayor's house or something, somebody told me once. But anyway, I'm looking forward to making the house lovely, and it can be very lovely, and as a home for us to live in. We've lived here for 16 years. Now, the next thing I would like to address is this idea of steel doors being better than by fiberglass. And fiberglass I can actually have made in Phoenix locally, so I don't have to import from China some steel doors. And they're actually environmentally much more sound, and as far as the rating for heat and cool, they're incredible. So I would like the board to start considering fiberglass as an alternative local product that can be made right in Phoenix, Arizona, not shipped in from a long distance. So it's a very environmentally good product. So I would like to suggest that we start considering that. If I have to use steel, I'll use steel. I'll paint the steel the same way I would paint the fiberglass. So nothing else, I don't think. Is there anything that anybody has a question about from what they're looking at of that property?
So thank you very much, Ms. Stetter, but we will continue.
And my name is Sharon.
Oh, Sharon. Okay, Sharon. We will go ahead and we need to listen to a few other items prior to asking you questions, but the questions will come.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for your application. Was that it, Mr. Hope and Sharon?
That's all I have. I'm here to entertain questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So now I'm going to open it up for the staff report. City staff will give report.
Okay. The muttons differ from the original, but I think both the muttons and the porch detailing are in keeping with the, I'm going to call it California bungalow look. So I think that works for that. I wish they were doing the first floor, but that's not my business. Mr. Hope, are the fiberglass doors wood on the inside?
No, they're an insulated core. They're fiberglass throughout.
Okay.
The steel doors are generally clad over. I don't even know what you call it. It's kind of a laminated core of MDF.
Yeah, I just remember that some fiberglass windows have an exterior fiberglass and an interior, I think of, or maybe I'm thinking of aluminum, but
Yeah, the windows that I'm speccing are wood interior with anodized aluminum cladding on the exterior.
so I just wanted to get an answer for the board for that question about.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. Now I'm going to open the hearing for public comment. Everybody can comment as long as it's 3 minutes or less per person. Are there any comments from the public? Nina, do we have any information that came in?
No, ma'am, we don't.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to close the public comments and I'm going to open it up for the board discussion. So members of the board, go ahead and.
Can I just ask one? May I ask one simple question? I'm a little confused at the doors that you're speccing, Mr. Hope. The doors are going to be wood interior and then aluminum clad exterior.
No, that's the construction of the windows. Steel
windows,
doors
okay.
are ordinarily steel. It's a shell.
Yes.
Same thing with fiberglass. This board has expressed a problem with fiberglass, and I respect Sharon's viewpoint too. So that's your decision to make, of course.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Savannah? Oops, Lord.
I'm just looking at the drawing, and it looks like the door has a large oval window. Is that not the case, or is that?
That's existing. That's the case.
And is that what the door would look like?
That is the door.
That is the door.
Yes, ma'am. We're not replacing that.
You're not.
The new door, the French doors to the, in this perspective, the left of it.
Okay, and so those are the ones that would be fiberglass.
Correct.
Okay, that was all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Savannah?
Thank you. So I just wanted to sort of bring up the door again. I do understand and you know, from the logical perspective, that fiberglass can be easier to attain. However, the reason I'm on the board is to maintain historical preservation and use historical materials. So I do still feel that steel or wood or some other material is something that I would approve, but not fiberglass.
You can't tell, you realize you can't tell the difference if you're looking.
I do. It's more of a matter of principle and what can be changed if we just approve all fiberglass. Then we sort of will lose more and more of Bisbee at a time.
I don't agree.
That's all right.
Other comments from any other board members?
Yeah, I've got some comments on the windows and the column. So currently,
Stephen Green.
Oh, let's go with Ben first and then Steve. Sorry, Stephen. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lupley.
yeah, so it appears that we're changing original architectural elements of a more architecturally distinctive house from the original to something new. And just in keeping with historic preservation guidelines, I can't really agree with that. And the two elements in particular that I don't agree with are changing from the diamond windows. And I did go by the house and saw that the diamond Muntin windows are all the way around the house on the bottom floor and the top floor. And also the columns, which looking at the photos I have here, the columns are round, not square. And I think the proposed ones, and I do see one is exploding, but the proposed ones are square in section, unless I'm wrong about that. And I would prefer that those be replaced in kind without changing the style and the original intent of the architecture of this house, which is specific and particular in its style.
Ben, can I respond? I would like to invite you to come inside the house to see what the columns on the inside of the house look like and understand that the remodel that added those stairs that are on the front of the house, that made that porch down below with those round columns was in 1940. The house was built in 1910, perhaps 1908, the downstairs, and then it was added on to. So, and then in the 40s, they did this kind of weird remodel and turned it into 3 apartments, which we then had to deal with. I mean, the house is kind of scary. And for many years, as I would walk past that home before it became a home that I actually own in Bisbee, it was kind of a frightening home. It had big, huge pimple hanging off the side of it, which was the evap cooler. And there's rot inside because of the water that ran down. So there's so much that needed to be fixed. And we put a lot of money into those downstairs apartments to allow some long-term tenants to have really cheap rent. And that's going to continue even though I'm going to live upstairs. but I want upstairs windows to function. And the windows, the way they are, I invite you to come in. I would love for you to come in. They're 40 inches and they swing open. You can't have curtains hanging in front. You can't have, I mean, they're just there. And then when they swing open, they hit the wall opposite. And I happen to be also like to collect local art. And so it'll slam into an artwork every single time because the wind blows them open because they don't function. They don't close. So they're just, I would love to repeat that diamond. If you want me to repeat the diamond, I'll repeat the diamond. But I would do it with things that function. Windows that function.
If I may, I did, Mr. Lepley, I do agree with you to a certain extent. I did look into getting the diamond muntins, and they are simply unobtainium. I went through 4 different window companies and they're just not available. I'm sure that we could get them custom made somewhere, but then, you know, we're back to the feasibility issue. So I felt that the top-down prairie was a good compromise. They are historic. That particular tradition does date from the early 1900s. I believe it is in keeping with the bungalow style of the building, as is replacing the colonial columns with a craftsman style. But again, this is my opinion. So thank you.
Would it, I would entertain something like, and I've seen this many times. There's a project in Tombstone that you drive by and on the through road where they put in a new window but left the historic window behind it, or vice versa. They put the new window behind either a storm window or something like that, which is fairly common.
And with all due respect, that's not going to work either, because a large part of this remodel is to improve the quality of natural light in the place. The apartment is really dark, and the larger windows are going to be required to accommodate that. We're doing our best to make everything look as it should, but some changes are just going to have to happen to pull this off. Thank you.
Any other board members? Comments?
Yes, Stephen Green.
There's Mr. Green, thanks.
I have sympathy with the homeowner here, because I think one of the issues that they're up against is that the place was remodeled in the 1940s, and a lot of the aspects they're talking about taking away, like particularly the pillars, they should look more like 1908, and so I want to be supportive of the homeowner and Mr. Hope on this application. I think they've got the right attitude and what they want to do and what they want to achieve. So I'm fully supportive of this application as presented.
Thank you, sir.
Can I say something else? I think that, sorry.
Go ahead, Lori.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, we can't hear you. You're
sorry, I know I muted myself instead of unmuting myself. I think the round columns were most likely a later addition, and I don't think that they fit the style of the house, nor do I think that those diamond mullioned windows fit the style of the house. That looks more of like a Tudor element to me, and that probably was also done later. So I think a prairie style window would be much more appropriate for this house, and I also think a square column is more appropriate for this house. So I also support the owners in those changes. Yeah, and I mean, the doors, I understand really both sides of the issue on the doors being whether they're aluminum or steel clad. I think I would be more comfortable with a steel clad wood French door for this house. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lori. I want to make a comment that I as well am in favor of this application as it is. I see a lot of time has been and thought has been put into it. And the other one's more of a philosophical question about the, you know, the wood or the wood doors that are clad in aluminum versus the fiberglass, and that's for another time. So can I get somebody to make a nomination? Mr. Green, perhaps?
I've got another comment.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Lee.
So just architecturally speaking about the diamond muntins, the Werner Hotel has diamond muntin windows. The Copper Queen Hotel also has those, and that's Spanish Revival. So I would say saying that they're Tudor would not be correct. They're Bisbee. They were used throughout Old Bisbee on some of the landmark buildings. And there's lots of different kinds of styles of homes that use them. And, you know, if we follow the historic preservation guidelines, things that are added to a building later in time then become part of the historical history of the building. I don't think it's our place to be doing revisionist history here. In 1940 was a long time ago, and that is protected. So I only have one vote, you know, so be it what it is. I just need to state that.
Well, Mr. Lepley, if I may, I fully respect your opinion here. You are correct. There are other examples of this diamond muntin in town, but again, they are unobtainium. I have exhausted all my usual sources looking for that particular style of muntin. So if I can't get them, I can't get them. Thank you.
Okay, can we,
Could I
we have
just,
oh.
I haven't spoken,
okay.
but I haven't spoken up either. Just asked Brian, is it that difficult to get a wood French door? A wood French door in my house here, and I'm just surprised that anybody would want anything other than wood. To be honest,
No, in answer to your question, it's
Really?
not difficult to get a wood door. It's a question of cost. We can spend $4,000 on those doors, or we can spend $1,200 on those doors. That's the issue.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do we have any other comments, Mr. Perfect? Or I just see little lights come on.
I'm just gonna just put my 2 cents in here just for 1 second in that I approve this proposal as is. The Prairie Down Muntin windows, the square taper columns, I think it all lends itself to being the eclectic house of Prairie style, which was very prominent from the 1900s to the 1920s. So I am all for everything that is proposed in front of us.
Thank you, Mr. Perfect. I think that concludes our board member comments. Now we'll move to the staff comments. Mr. Taylor?
Well, I agree with Mr. Lepley that it would be a wonderful thing if we could have all the windows look the same and look the way they did originally. My understanding is, and I spoke with Mr. Hope previously about this, that the windows are not available, or I take him at his word. And I think that in that case, this is a good substitute. And I think eventually they will be what the windows downstairs look like. So I think when we don't have the ability to reproduce something like an old leaded glass window or something, pulling in the right replacement choice would be apropos. So I still stand with it. I think this is a good solution.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Green, would you like to make a motion?
I'm
Would
happy to make,
anybody?
I'll
Thank
make a
you.
motion.
Thank you, Peter.
I'll make a motion to just keep things moving. I think to approve application number 21-92 as presented.
I'll second.
that.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
4. Savannah?
I,
Okay, okay. So 5. Okay, those opposed? 1 and Ben Lepley? So 2. 2 opposed. I know we're having some, it looks like a little bit of technical difficulty. So 9, I think it's 40.
It's
Was it
5 to
4?
2.
Yeah, they're together.
I'll let you do the count because you're great at that. Okay, so it passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your
The
time and
applicants
consideration,
and
folks.
Mr. Hope.
Appreciate all your comments.
Sharon, thank you, Sharon. Okay, so now we're moving into the last 3 applications. The only thing I want to say about these is I just need to note that these were all submitted after the application deadline, November 23rd.
Linda, you have to keep
Yes.
that comment to yourself.
Okay,
You can't, that's your opinion and not the whole opinion, so you can't discuss that. You can only
Okay,
discuss the
but I
item.
can say that these were added. These were added just in case I haven't read them.
Right, they were added.
So they're just highlighted. Okay, they were
They're
highlighted.
just highlighted.
Okay. Agenda item number 6. Well, it says right on here, added to agenda. I'm just reading.
Right, no, they were added to agenda. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that they were.
Okay, thank you. Design Review Board Application 2194. Request for approval of replace rotting patio walls with board and batten facade on bottom and hand-crafted wooden windows on the top. Second item, replace rotting board and batten on back wall of home with replicated board and batten to match. Third item, remove shed on side of home and repair board and batten. At 231 Brewery Avenue, contributing properties 641. Brian Giles and Savannah Anderson are the applicants. Call for the application. Applicant representative will present their application to the board. Go ahead, Savannah.
And I just want to say that I've also recused myself from voting on this because of course it's a conflict of interest as it is my own home. So I will present it and then I will mute myself and turn off my video so that you can discuss it. And if you need anything from me, then I'll hear and I'll rejoin. So essentially, if you look at the picture, I think it's the third one, you see the front of the house on the left side. Some owner in the past, they went and bought some little screen doors that are wood and they pretty much just nailed those together and that is the wall. They're falling apart on the bottom. There's some termite damage. There's some different things there. And they're just sort of, yeah, rotting. So essentially the plan is to, on the bottom, as you can see in the drawing, we're going to put board and batten facade to match the home. Also, I have someone who is making handcrafting for us wooden windows with wooden window panes. And that is going to be that patio section of it. When it comes to the back wall of the home, it is sort of peeling off the structure. There are gaps of like 3 or 4 inches in some places. So as you can see, this is board and batten, and we're going to replicate, we're going to keep it looking exactly the same with those, with that. And then the other item is the shed on the side. It's not really, it doesn't have a floor. It's just sort of sat there and nailed into the house. It's made up of many pieces of metal put together. And so the plan is to remove that as it's not really, it's just sort of sitting, hanging there on the side of the house, and repair also the board and batten in the spots that it has deteriorated inside of the shed.
Thank you, Savannah.
Okay, I'll mute myself then.
Oh, well, okay.
You have a question?
No, I was just gonna say, you may not want to mute yourself yet because all the questions are gonna start coming in.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't.
No, you can
on
mute yourself.
the note I got,
Don't go off.
it said that if we were a part of it, that we might need to leave the room, and the equivalency of that would be turning off our microphone and camera on Zoom.
Yes, I also read that, but
If I
I,
may, that's not if you represent the project.
Okay. Thank you. I misunderstood. I misread.
okay, well, thank you for your presentation. Staff report, did you want to go ahead and speak?
Sure.
Mr. Taylor, can I go
Like
first? Can I
Excuse
go
me, go ahead.
first? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I
Oh,
was
it's okay.
asked, I was asked to convey that this application was added to the agenda, but it was not last minute. Miss Savannah turned it in on November 23rd, and because of the holidays, she just missed it by a couple of days. And since we were having a special session, that is the reason why I added it, because that way she didn't have to wait 5 weeks for an approval. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Nina. Sorry, I
Doug?
interrupted you. I think that the materials and the way the materials are applied match the existing building, and that this proposal meets the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation, and I think that's commendable. So I think it's a good solution. That's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Taylor, I'm going to open it up for public comment, and just remember 3 minutes per person. Nina, first, do we have any comments that came in?
No, we
Okay.
don't have any comments regarding.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody who would like to speak for or against this? Doesn't look like anybody's online. So I'm going to go ahead and close the public comments, and I will open it up for the board to discuss.
I just have one clarification. Do I understand the shed is just going to be completely removed? And that's it. And what was behind it will be board and battened?
Yes, so it is
Okay.
already board and batten. It's all sort of decayed in
Understood.
there. So we want to remove that so we can repair that.
And you won't reinstate a shed at this time?
No,
Good enough.
no.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to commend Savannah. It's a pretty cool project. I'm still working on mine, which is probably the same age, same construction type. And but it's coming along. Just take your time. Don't rush anything. Yeah, cool.
I have a question, and it's a silly one, but what does it say on the sign on the front, on that first picture on the far left? I mean, was that like a restaurant before, or it's just design, or I'm trying to figure out what that is.
You're muted,
You're
Savannah.
muted. It's just a big Black Lives Matter sign.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now, the other question I had were on the windows. Are you just, you're just replacing all the windows?
So there is no existing window there currently. Right now, it's just all screen and then a little sort of rinky-dink wood around the edges. So what we're going to do is put that board and batten facade on the bottom, and then above it, we're doing custom-sized wooden windows to fit that, so we can still sort of see out and, you know, all that.
So I see, it looks like the front and the back of the house, and what's going on the sides?
So on the side, so my side, if you look at the house on the right, is only about an inch away from the other house. So that is not being touched at all. On the side to the left, when you look at the house, that is where the shed is. And that's what's going to be removed so we can repair the board and batten there.
Okay, and the materials on these doors, are you just reusing the door and window? Or
So for that, the one door that you can see in the patio, it's an antique wooden door, and we're going to be keeping that exactly where it is.
Okay, and the windows?
So the windows are not non-existent currently. So we are making ones to fit. I'm sure, I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Oh, I was just asking what the materials were gonna be
So it's just wood frame, solid wood. Mhm.
with like a single pane or,
Yeah, it's just single. Mhm.
okay. Have you been here in the winter?
Yes. That's why we want that.
Okay. Any other board member have any questions? Comment?
Yeah, I just want to make note to anyone watching that Savannah's doing wood windows, custom made. I have a question for you. No, okay, didn't think so.
Green, were you trying to say something? Nope. Savannah, you're muted.
No, all good.
Anyone else? Okay, now I'm going to close the board discussion. Staff comments.
I don't have any more comment.
Okay, then we'll close that. Now the board will take a motion and vote. So can I please get a board member to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 2194 as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Green. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. I think it's unanimous, Nina.
Yes,
My
it's
little
six.
clocks they come in and they go out, so.
Yeah, it's six.
Okay, great. It passes. Congratulations, Savannah. And thank you for your comments. Okay, agenda item number 7. Added to agenda. I don't know if I should even read that or not, but it's on there. Design Review Board Application 2195. Request for approval of a 7-foot garage door to the front of building to completely close off garage at 506 Brophy Avenue, contributing property number 913. Jason Martin's applicant. Call for the application. Applicant representative will present their application to the board. Jason, I saw you earlier and you're muted right now. Are you ready to present or will somebody else present?
Looks like he's trying to unmute himself.
Give him a.
There we go. Now I got it.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. Sorry about that. My name is Yankee. Thanks for being here tonight. What we got is a old carport.
Jason, we're
from my
having
house.
trouble hearing you. You keep cutting in and out.
Maybe turning off the video might help because it might give you more
Okay,
power
hear
for
me?
the audio.
Also, I think
Yes.
if we all mute, that'll help him, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Turn my video.
Can you try turning your video off, Jason? Keep the audio on and turn the video off.
Okay, so what do you want me to do? Alright, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Turn my video off, okay? How's that? Okay, can you hear me?
We can, go
Can you hear me
ahead. Yes.
now? Okay, great. So I've got a very old house, 116 years old, and I've got a carport that you can hear me? Or am I cutting out?
No, you sound perfect. You're good. Just continue. We're all muted.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. We've just muted ourselves so that you come through clearer. So just continue, do your presentation.
You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Awesome. So All right, sorry. So I've got a 10 by 17 foot carport, and the retaining wall is failing on one side. So I'm reinforcing that with a 8-inch concrete wall and rebar number 4 1/2 inch every 2 foot, all the way up to the top, 6 foot tall. What I need to do is put a garage door on the front of that to enclose the entire structure. I'm using 16-inch block to go up my 6 feet, 8 feet to enclose my doorway. There'll be concrete on the retaining wall, a standard 7-foot garage door. The picture that you guys have is just a stock photo from Lowe's. I don't have any more room to put a door in, so 7 foot is as big as I can go. Above that door, I'll be enclosing that with 2x4 stud wall construction with NDX sheeting on the outside, and then keeping in the same style as the house. I'm going to put 6-inch pine boards to make the outside look the same way as the house, and then trim with 4-inch pine boards painted as well, same as the house. Everything will be the same color as the house, and this would just be an extra storage, an extra little garage. It's too small to fit a vehicle, so it's just going to be a little storage, small workshop area. I guess I'll turn back up my video and I just follow your instructions. Let me know what you guys need.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. Now I'm going to open up for the staff report.
Okay, I tried to hear that as best as I could, Jason, but what I didn't hear was what the material of the garage door will be. Jason?
Jason, what's the material of the garage door?
It looks like he may be frozen.
Ms. Chairman?
The material will be a steel garage door.
Steel.
I believe, thank you, Jason.
Yes, steel
Thank you.
garage door.
I believe that the rail and style with raised panel gives the look of a historic building, but so if you approve the material, I'm on board with the look.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll close it. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
You're welcome.
I'll close it now. We'll open it up for public comment, 3 minutes per person. And 9, I'll go back to you again, see if there are any last minute comments that came in.
There were no last minute comments.
And I don't really see anybody else that's on here. Anybody out there? No. And sorry, Jason, I just noticed that you can type to answer. So whatever you type, I will read off if the board members can't hear anything, okay? Okay, I'll close it to the public comments and I will open it now to the board members to comment and discuss.
May I?
Go ahead, Savannah.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to confirm that I heard you correctly, Mr. Martins. Was it a steel garage door? If so, can you type yes? Or type what the material is, just so we can all clarify that?
He did say steel. I'm not sure if he can.
Say steel.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can type because oh, there he goes. Maybe he's typing now.
I did it. But he did say steel.
It's steel, Savannah.
Yeah, he's confirmed it.
And he's confirmed. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions?
I do, Linda. I thought I heard Mr. Martins say that it would not be used as a garage. Did I misunderstand that?
He did say that. He said it was too small to fit a car and he was going to be using it as a shop.
I mean, have you considered therefore actually not putting in a garage door, which, you know, there's nothing uglier than a garage door except usually the hole that it covers. And so, yeah, if he wants to have a garage door, that's great. But you know, if you were to put a frame in it and maybe a man door or something like that, have you considered that? Or even a glass door, semi-glazed, to give some natural light inside if it's not going to be used as a garage?
Due to the unusual circumstance of communication, he had spoken to me about that, if I can answer for him. Is that okay?
Please. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He lives on Brophy Avenue. There are a lot of cat problems. The cats have been living inside his garage, and he also wanted to keep tools in there of some value. And so he felt he needed to close it off with essentially, as he's very interested in historic preservation, but he needs something that's more of a security door that looks somewhat historic.
Okay, I buy that. Thank you.
Any other questions from board members?
I mean, I think that corrugated metal, barn door that swings open is super relevant for Bisbee. That's just my comment. Especially for garage. Back in the day, people didn't put much money into their garages, and it would be very secure and people couldn't peer through it. So that's all.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
Just in response to what Lynn said, or Mr. Lovely said, though I agree with you, I think it probably couldn't keep out cats. And I do know there are a lot of cats on Brophy Street.
Thank you, Savannah. Okay, I don't see anybody else's hands up. Oh, Mr. Perfect?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to close the board discussion. Staff comments, Mr. Taylor?
I don't have any more comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board. The board will take a motion and vote. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as is.
Thank you, Lori. And second. Thank you, Peter. All those in favor say aye.
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 Just wait to hear from Nina.
I
All
do
those
not-
against?
Ben, were you an aye?
Nay.
A nay.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I,
Did you get your count, Nina? Okay.
yeah,
Motion
one.
Motion passes, Jason. Thank you very much for your presentation. You're good. Pass. Here, I'll let you know. Savannah, you're closer. Can you? Oh, here, I've got it. And thank you, Doug, for explaining for him
You're welcome.
all of your opinions. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're in the last agenda item for applications. It's application 21, agenda 8, application 2196. Request for approval of a change to existing fencing from wood slats to option 1, corrugated metal, option 2, standard wrought iron at 142 Brewery Avenue, non-contributing property number 10. Tamara Thomas is the applicant. Call for the application. Applicant representative will present their application to the board. Tamara? Are
Thank
you
you all
there?
for listening one more time to this issue. This went before the board some months ago, and we all agreed that pickets could be added to the fencing, the existing fencing, to make it look more historically appropriate. Unfortunately, I've contacted several contractors and pickets are not feasible. The slats are 1x3s. I think they're flimsy essentially, and they don't provide enough structure. We'd have to put in additional vertical supports, and the concrete wall that supports those vertical supports probably wouldn't tolerate more drilling. It's crumbling on the inside rather badly. And anyway, several contractors and people more expert than I recommended against that solution. My first request, and I didn't include it in the writing, would be just to leave the darn thing as it is, and I'll paint it or stain it to fit. I've repainted the house and I'm doing other upgrades, but if that's not okay, which I understand why it didn't pass the first time, I'm looking at the least expensive solution would be to apply galvanized corrugated metal over the existing fencing. And I'd trim it out if necessary, however the board approves. That would supply.
We lost you.
Yeah, we lost you. There's sound. We can't hear you. Oh. There we go. No.
No?
Turn off the video.
I'll try that. How's that?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yay. Okay. Where did
So
I
lost?
we lose me?
We lost you at, you were going to, the least expensive thing to do would be to use corrugated metal.
Yes, and I have one bid in already and two more coming for that from reputable fencers. And it would be in keeping with Bisbee's construction elsewhere. Although there aren't very many galvanized fences in Bisbee, there are lots and lots of galvanized metal buildings and other structures. And I think it would be better than what's there now. The other option I've looked into is wrought iron panels inserted in between the existing posts. That's more than double expensive. What the galvanized, I'm sure it's going to be feasible. It's very expensive. Considering I bought the house not knowing I was going to have to replace the fence. So I throw myself at the board's mercy. I will of course do what the best I can because I'm totally supportive of keeping the historical look. But this house has been linked with so darn much without any approvals anywhere that I'm not really sure where to go from here. I think the galvanized would look great. It would weather slowly and be also a good barrier for my dogs. So there's my proposal. That's about it.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask for the staff to give their report. Mr. Taylor?
I didn't want to discourage Ms. Thomas from applying with the corrugated steel fence. I know that has been not approved in the past, but I thought she should have every right to bring you whatever she thought she might be able to do. I do feel that option 2 is reflected in the fence across the street, only that's much more ornate and curly-Q kind of style. But I do feel that a wrought iron fence would be the appropriate choice here. The only thing I want to caution about is that sometimes people believe that a wrought iron fence is a hollow metal steel fence or aluminum fence. I just want to make sure that's not the case, because that I don't think would hold the test of time or the design. So you may want to consider that as one of the options if she's thinking that she's putting in a hollow metal fence. But the application says wrought iron, so I was going with that. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor.
You're welcome.
Let's see. I kind of lost my spot here. Okay, now I'm going to close the staff reporting and open it up for public comment. Do we have Any public comments?
No, no public comment
It
was
does not.
received.
Thank you, Nina. I'm going to go ahead and close the public comments and open it up for board discussion.
I'll kick off. I disagree with staff on this. I actually like the corrugated metal fencing. There's plenty of it around Bisbee. I've used it myself. I think the image that shows it with the corrugations running horizontally, it's a good looking fence, and it would give the applicant a little more privacy, probably give the dog some privacy. So it would get my support. That's my vote.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to speak on that as well. And I completely agree with you, Peter. I think the horizontal corrugated metal fence is a viable option. I support that 100%. Any other board members?
I agree. with
Thank you,
that.
Lori. Mr. Perfect?
I concur with what's been said so far. I don't concur with staff's opinion at this point. I do like the galvanized, especially the horizontal rails. I don't have a problem with that, and I would gladly support that.
Any other board member comments?
May I state something?
Anna? Yes. of course.
So I understand where Doug is coming from when he says it doesn't suit the area. However, I live just a few doors up, and once you get a little bit further up, then there's a lot of corrugated metal fences in that same neighborhood. So I don't think I have a problem with the corrugated metal.
Any other board comments? Okay, I'm going to close it at this time to the board members and open it up for staff comments. Mr. Taylor?
I would just like to, I think that's a fine solution. It beats what's there. I would like you to consider that it is, you'll see in the photo of the vertical corrugated steel, that it is trimmed out in some sort of frame that will keep it from having open, sharp edges. She has a couple of little dogs. I'm sure that's a concern. If the fence is trimmed out with wood or whatever, I think that would work for me.
Okay, I see in, oh,
You're the
so
one
thank you very much,
vertical?
Mr. Oh, do you have any other comments?
No, I'm set. I just was trying to clarify.
Okay.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, Nina, I'm not sure how that works because we have board discussion and we close it. It's just answering to the staff comment, or are we done and we need to?
Now you can go into your vote.
Yeah,
Thank you
go
very
into
much.
your vote.
You know,
Okay, sorry, Savannah. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. So the board will take a motion and we'll vote on it. Can somebody please do a motion?
I'll make a motion
Thank you.
to approve application number 21-96 with the option of corrugated metal, which shall be enclosed, shall be contained in a frame, as suggested by the photographs in her application.
Have a
Does that
second?
make sense?
I have a
Does that make
question.
sense to the applicant?
Not entirely.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Several
think,
people talked about the horizontal fencing, the corrugation going horizontal, but
Yeah,
Mr.
that-
Taylor brought up the vertical with frame.
May I clarify, Madam
Which
Chairman?
one?
Yes.
I am talking about, because the image you gave us was the close-up of the vertical was better seen for the wood. I do see that you can see it in the horizontal. I just don't know if the average eye can see it, but there is in the horizontal that you showed a wood frame around that too. I think that's perfectly acceptable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Mr. Gaffer? Oh,
Yep.
no, Mr. Gaffer, let's continue this vote.
Okay, I think I'm done.
Okay. do
I
have-
guess if I were to clarify a little further in the motion, it would be to adopt the image or a fence as close as possible to meet site conditions as the image in the top left of the four on the application, 4 photographs in the application. I think it's 4. I have to scroll down. Yeah, no,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
I'll second
Top
that.
left, top left.
Okay, Scott Perfect, second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes, Nina. I think it was unanimous. Thank you very much, Tamara.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
everyone. I need it. Thanks.
Luck with that. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 9, approval of the November 3rd, 2021 Design Review Board regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'd like to motion that we approve the minutes from the November 3rd Design Review Board regular meeting minutes.
And I'll second that.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Are those opposed, nay? Okay, so that passes. Now we have staff comments, only staff to speak, no discussion. Mr. Taylor?
You have the drawing before you that I approved for dimensions for the stairs for the Harmons.
Mhm.
Yes. Was that it, Mr. Taylor?
Well, also, I wanted to thank the board for their patience. Last week was so much fun, and you were very patient, and thank you for rescheduling. And I want to thank Nina for her hard work that night. There was quite a bit of staff trying to figure out where Zoom went wrong. But thank you, Nina, and thank you for this evening. And that's it for me.
I also want to thank everybody because obviously everybody's here again, and I'm really sorry you guys had all that trouble because I can't imagine that being not stressful. So thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to open this up to future agenda items, suggestions. Board members may suggest topics for future meetings agendas, but board will not discuss, deliberate, or take any action on those topics. And I see Mr. Lepley's hands up.
I'd like to put on the agenda now that we have a full board, because we were waiting many months actually for this. Voting on the adoption of the revised Design Review Board guidelines.
I didn't catch that. Did he say guidelines?
Yes, voting on
Okay.
adoption of revised design review board guidelines. Does anybody have anything else?
I do, Linda. We had proposed that we would return to a live meeting as of the first meeting in January. I have some concerns about that, and I would ask that we discuss it not in a live meeting, but in a virtual meeting as our first meeting of January. If we can't discuss it now because it's not an agenda item, then I do think we should discuss it as a group in the format that we have this evening.
Miss Linda, can I say something?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so do you want to have a special session to discuss that? For the public notices that have to go out next week for 2022, all boards and commission are going to be done in person. All the board members will wear masks. The participants will wear masks. Doug and I, or whoever happens to, fill in, will wear a mask, if that alleviates anything. Is that something you want to do, Mr. Gaffer, or you want to just wait till January?
None of my proposal was that since we can't really discuss it as a group because it wasn't an agenda item, then if we want to have a discussion, then I don't want to have a special meeting.
Okay, that's what I wanted
That
to know.
makes a lot of work for you. I would say, I would ask that we could have that discussion as an agenda item at the next meeting.
I would like to add one as well. I would like to talk about, I think Stephen Green had proposed an application, a new application, and we all received copies of that, but I don't think it went anywhere. So can we put that on there, or is that something you guys are working on? From the
No,
administrative side?
at the last one, it was that there were going to be a work session in January to be decided at the first meeting in January when that work session could be.
Okay,
So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's just, we'll just have a work session for it, but yeah, it can be brought back up. I'll put that on there as an agenda item to schedule that for it.
okay, that'll be great. I think those are the only things that were pending. So if nobody else has any other comments, we can adjourn or get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Happy to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. Thank you, everybody.
Aye.
You all.
Aye. Aye.
You- Oh, yes, voting, aye.
Bye.
You gotta keep me in the straight and narrow.
We're doing our best. Thank you.
Any nays? Okay. I think we're done. Thank you so much. Thank you.